I'm filming this like an hour before I'm posting it to YouTube. Good morning. Hey guys, I actually really wanted to get started on some of the amazing travel vlogs that I've been working on over the past week. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably don't know that I set off on a solo 2,000-mile round trip on my road glide back here, riding all over the kind of mid-Atlantic and East Coast. Those videos, I think, have over 100 gigs worth of content and data and storytelling, and it will take me some time to put them all together, but don't worry, those are going to start coming out later this week. I just wanted to go ahead and make this quick impromptu video to let you know some of the things that I had to learn on this trip. I will say I've traveled thousands of miles on my road glide already. I haven't even had that bike a year, and in that year I haven't been able to ride for half of the year because it was such a bad winter. So over, I don't know, probably half a year, I put close to 10,000 miles on this bike already, and it kind of boggles my mind that we've traveled so far so fast. But I'm just gonna kind of sit here and talk about some of the things I learned on my travels. So exactly a week ago, on I think Sunday, May 29th, my husband Jordan and I hit the road down from Ohio to the lower half of Virginia. I mentioned it in a previous video. If you didn't see that video, go watch it. It's a really good one. We took our very first ever road trip, and I will say, spoiler alert, we had an amazing time. We traveled very well together, and I definitely see us doing more of them in the future. Jordan, my husband, has his own YouTube channel that he has been making content on, and his video of the trip is coming out very soon. I watched it and I cried. So yes, Jordan and I hit the road last Sunday down to Damascus, Virginia, and I rode my BMW R18. If you guys are new to the channel, I have partnered with BMW for this year, and I'm not sponsored by them, but I was very passionate about their new motorcycle and the story that they have behind their bike, and so they loaned me the gorgeous R18 for I think about 5 months. We'll see if I have it longer, but I have thoroughly enjoyed my time on that motorcycle, and I was excited to take a road trip with it because I didn't need a lot of stuff to ride down to Virginia. Now, if I need a lot of stuff, I'm gonna take my road glide, but I'll explain a bit more about that here later on in the video, so stay tuned because things are going to be changing on the road glide. So if you guys do not know, I have a Harley-Davidson Dyna, a Harley-Davidson road glide, a BMW R18, and now I have a Royal Enfield Himalayan. My husband has built this beautiful Harley-Davidson Sportster Scrambler back here that he took on what was supposed to be a 1,000-mile road trip off-road through the Mid-Atlantic BDR with a bunch of other guys, but that is a whole nother story, so stay tuned for his videos. But the things I learned while on the road on the R18 is the gas tank is much smaller. I almost ran out of gas. That was quite the adventure. Well, I'm about to make today an adventure for sure. My gas light just came on. It says I have a 2.5-mile range, and I have 10 miles to the closest gas station. Oh no! And I will say I would like to do some research onto an aftermarket suspension for that bike. There is something so lovely about the foot position, the controls. I was very comfortable on that motorcycle, but I think the suspension could probably use a bit softening, or maybe I just need to do some more squats or something. But I was in some physical pain by the time I got back from just 350 miles. So so that was kind of a hard lesson I learned, was just I probably should have stopped a bit more often and stretched a bit more often on that bike, and I think I would have been perfectly fine. But the thing I really appreciate about the R18 that I don't get to do on the road glide is because of the mid-control foot positions and the floorboards on that bike, you can stand up while riding, and that really helped me just kind of like stretch out and get rid of some of those tailbone aches and pains. So long story short, the trip down to Virginia and back was pretty easy, minus a couple butt ouchies, but I had a really good time. fast forward to Tuesday morning. If you guys don't know, I post new videos on my YouTube channel every single Monday and Thursday. Hence why I'm out here kind of like busting ass trying to get this out for you really fast. This might not be a quality or entertaining video, but I just really wanted to make it because I didn't take the time in my travel vlogs to really reflect and explain on some of the things I'm going to explain in this video. So Tuesday, I did a bunch of editing, got a video lined up for Thursday, and then I was watching the radar. So my plan was to go from Ohio to Virginia, back up to Ohio, spend a couple days home cleaning, organized, packing, and then I was gonna hit the road, ride 500 miles from Ohio over to New York for Babes Ride Out East Coast. I am not affiliated with Babes Ride Out. I just met the ladies who started it. They are lovely. I don't earn commission sales. I bought my own ticket. I wasn't given a free ticket to go. I packed my own camping gear and I rode my own damn motorcycle because it is one of my favorite events. Long story short, Babes Ride Out is a women-only motorcycle camp-out festival. You just have to experience it if you never have. And I met so many amazing women this weekend who said they had no idea what the event even was until they saw my YouTube channel. So I'm so happy you guys came because this was the best one yet. Stay tuned for those videos. Back to Ohio, back home, I was getting ready and I was starting to pack and I was getting ready for the night before. I knew that my husband was still traveling up the Mid-Atlantic BDR. I knew he was going to be somewhere in mid-state Pennsylvania when I was going to be heading over to New York. So after watching the radar, I saw that the day I was planning on leaving was going to be very rainy. Not even just rain, like thunderstorms, hail, damaging winds. And I was like, I don't want to ride through that. It was going to be a high of 68 degrees. And I said, listen, I've done my time in the rain. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, I don't have to. I don't have to wake up and go to work in the morning. I don't have to clock out tonight. Like, just go now. Leave. This is the reason why you quit your full-time job, girl, to just go. Hit the road when you want to. So that morning, Wednesday morning, I was talking to my husband on the phone and he said, hey, I think we're gonna deviate from our plan and we're gonna head over to a place called State College, Pennsylvania. And I was like, well, let me see where that's at. After doing a little GPSing, I was like, man, that's just kind of right on the way to where I'm going up for New York. And I said, why don't I just come meet you there for the night? I was like, let's go. I'll meet up with you and go to dinner, get a hotel, and I'll get to see you one more time before I spend a weekend in New York. So that's exactly what I did. I packed my big old Road Glide frantically. This was a very manic last-minute decision to hit the road a day early, so I wasn't really prepared. I had about 2 hours to fully pack and get ready and then hit the road because it was about a 5.5-hour ride over to Pennsylvania. So I packed up, said goodbye to my cute little midgie, and then I hit the road. It was so god-awful hot. I didn't wear any gear. I mean, I wore my helmet and gloves, but I didn't wear a jacket. I didn't even bring my mesh jacket because it was so hot, so humid. That full fairing, I had the lower fairings. I was a mess. I was dying. So this was a hard lesson I had to learn, number one. I was not hydrated enough. I didn't take enough stops. I was trying very hard to just get over to where I needed to go, and I didn't take enough electrolytes. By the time I met up with the group and I got to see my husband and we booked a hotel, I was having a severe migraine. Heat exhaustion is a real thing for me. I know a lot of people will yell at me if I don't wear gear, but I do want to let you guys know I know the risks. I'm a big girl. I don't want to have that conversation here. In the state of Ohio, it is not required to wear a helmet by law unless you are underage or stuff like that. I choose to because I want to protect myself. Now, if it's really, really hot, I will take those chances and just ride comfortably. So you can leave a comment down below if you want to. I know some of you will, but I'm just letting you know. I will always ride my own ride, and everything was fine. I was just really hot. So that was lesson number one. I didn't take enough electrolytes, I didn't take enough breaks, and I was really paying for it. So that night I went to bed with a really bad migraine, and then the next morning I woke up and I still had the headache, even after taking some ibuprofen and drinking lots of water. Electrolytes are key. The following morning I woke up, I said goodbye to my husband, we had breakfast, and then he rode all the way back home to Ohio, which if you don't know, this was his very first time ever taking a long distance motorcycle trip out of the state. I think he did amazing. His health did amazing. His endurance did amazing. His bike did amazing. So it was a wonderful, wonderful time. So on the flip side of the day before being super, super hot, the next day was pretty cold. It was probably about 58 degrees that morning, and that's not cold by any means, but having my lower fairings on my road glide and heated grips was a very nice reprieve from the heat a day before. So I was in full gear, and I got to enjoy the 2.5-hour ride up to northern Pennsylvania, where I had planned on staying for that night. Long story short, after that, I met up with my friend Captain Anna. She traveled up from Florida with her Sportster, and I will have more information about that. We went to Babe's Ride Out. It was a wonderful time. I will have more videos about that. But what I'm trying to talk about in this video are the lessons I learned while on the road, especially being a solo female on the road. Nothing scary happened with other people. That was never the case. I had Appa. I was on my road glide. He's a very iconic motorcycle. So if you guys are familiar with the channel and you saw me on the road and waved, I very much enjoyed seeing you guys on the highway. So that was super fun. Coming home, riding 500 miles one way after partying and camping, sleeping on the ground, dehydration, and just having generally an amazing time. Waking up and riding 500 miles was rough, and it's kind of dangerous. So I will go ahead and say I have learned that I will be taking off the lower fairings from my road glide, as well as I will be taking off that tour pack. Now, having the tour pack on the back of my bike was a little nerve-wracking. I have never ridden a bike this big before, and so riding through those hills and twisty roads of the Catskills in New York, I was a bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I'm usually not super nervous about a lot of things. I'll hop on any motorcycle and confidently try to ride it to my skill level, but I was nervous about having a fully loaded down road glide, and I even made a video about that. Actually, I made a video. You can check that out right here. I did fine riding. The thing that I was not prepared for, and that actually scared the living shit out of me, was the turbulence behind semi-trucks. Usually I don't have an issue on the road glide because, you know, with that big fairing, you slice through the wind. I do want to let you guys know my road glide is not set at the stock seat height. It does have an aftermarket factory performance suspension on it. I have Fox suspension on this. I bought it with it was already on the bike. I didn't put it on. So it sits a bit taller in the back, and we have adjusted the suspension to accommodate for a heavier pack weight because I do a lot of long distance travel. With that tour pack and the lower fairings on the bottom of this road glide, and I do not know the science behind it, I'm sure some of you will, and please, if you do, leave a comment and explain it to me because I very much want to know what the hell is going on. So a lot of you have asked me about my Dyna. Oh, do you get the speed wobbles? Do you get the death wobbles on the highway fully loaded? And I've never had that experience on my Dyna. But I genuinely thought I was going to die on the road glide yesterday when I got behind a semi-truck, and the way the air current was flowing around the bike, around the lower fairings, around the front fairing, and over and through the tour pack was causing my entire motorcycle to get the death wobbles. And I don't mean the forks. It wasn't the forks. It wasn't the tire wobbling. It was the entire motorcycle tipping from side to side. I could physically feel my tires reaching and gripping for traction. It got so bad at one point, I had to completely let off the throttle. I did not touch the brake. I just wanted that deceleration to help me get away from the turbulence. And I was physically screaming in my helmet, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, because I was so scared. I genuinely thought I was going to crash. Thank God I didn't crash. That did not happen, but it was a lesson in itself I'm going to take off all of the aftermarket fairings. I'm going to hop back on the motorcycle, get behind a semi, do 80 miles an hour, and see if it's different. I don't know if it's just the tour pack. I don't know if it's the lower fairings. I know it is a turbulence issue, and I need to figure it out before I ever continue on maybe west through the United States. I'm just sharing that with you guys because I want to be honest. I think it's very inspiring for a lot of people to see a solo female traveler on her big Harley-Davidson touring across the country, but there are things that I can't predict. I've never experienced, and I learned through experience, so this is why I'm making this video. Other than being ill-planned and ill-informed on the weather and the humidity and stuff like that. I had a genuinely wonderful time. This was the first time I've ever gotten to ride over to Babes Ride Out solo. By myself, I'm usually with a group of people, and I will say I enjoyed every minute of it. I was on my own time. I got to stop when I wanted to. I got to get back on the road when I wanted to, and I made excellent decisions when it comes to time management, but not so excellent decisions when it came to reading my body and knowing when to take a break. There was a couple moments where I realized I was so tired on this motorcycle. I felt myself wanting to shut my eyes. And I will say I posted an Instagram story last week or something, and I wanted to ask you guys if you have any questions about long distance travel. And a few of those questions, they were kind of repeated, asked, do you get tired? When do you know to take a break? I usually don't get too tired, or how I entertain myself. I listen to music constantly. I enjoy singing along to music, and that activates my brain. Yesterday was a bit different. I was incredibly exhausted after having an amazing weekend with my friends. I do think I learned that I might look for alternatives on my way back home. 500 miles in one day isn't that bad. I've done it countless times. It's a haul. It'll take you a while. It took me about 8.5 hours to do 500 miles consecutively. But I need to find alternatives to break it up and continue the ride home in a positive way, not a pure exhaustion way. So that was another hard lesson I learned. And it's something about learning it all this year. It's something about the travels that I have done just in the past week that have really opened my eyes that I didn't experience last year when I was doing thousands of miles worth of road trips. So the way I could tell I was getting fatigued yesterday was when I had the mental thought of just rest your eyes. And I immediately opened my eyes, I snapped out of it, and I said, you absolutely cannot do this. This is a warning sign. This is your body telling you, hey, you're tired, pull over. So I waited until the next intersection. I found a spot where I could sit down and have lunch, and I really just let my body rest for a minute. I shut my eyes for a minute. I didn't fall asleep, but I had some food, I drank some water, and by the time I was ready to get back on the motorcycle, maybe 30 minutes later, killing the last 2.5 hours of that ride was 10 times easier. So I guess my best advice for anyone who asks that question is know yourself, know your body, and if you are with a group of people and you feel fatigued, pull off, leave. Send them a text message and say, hey, I was too tired, I needed a break. I'll catch up with you guys later, or I'll text you when I get home. I always encourage you to ride your own ride. And that's exactly what I did, and I benefited greatly from it. So stay tuned in future videos. I'm going to be taking off the tour pack and the lower fairings. The reason I'm taking the lower fairings off, honest to God, is it's so hot now. A month ago, it was freezing cold, and I loved the lower fairings. Oh, they do have vents. They are vented, but it's still like the heat from the motor and the exhaust is so hot, it actually burns my leg. So I'll be taking those off for the summertime, but they're very nice to have when it's rainy or cold. Very nice to have. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button, man. I have really enjoyed sharing these moments with you guys and just being honest and upfront about it. I'm not a super person. I don't have superpowers. I am not a great adventurer, but I like riding motorcycles and I like having fun with my friends. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. Stay tuned for the travels down to Virginia and back, and New York and back, and just all over the Mid-Atlantic. I've had an amazing time the past week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until my next one, which is just in a couple days, you be good, and I'll see you later.